we're going to go ahead and give a nice practice and celebration to the autumnal equinox, bringing in some balance and being able to kind of turn inward, making sure that we're stoking that inner light, that inner fire, and then also getting grounded. So we have a nice practice today. And we will go ahead and get started standing up today. So we're going to switch it up. If you all want to come to the top of your mat, we will go ahead and get started there. So if you have your props, go ahead and bring one block to the top of your mat and one prop to the end of your mat. Great. And then we'll go ahead and get grounded through all four corners of the feet. Really press into the ground, and you can keep your knees nice and soft. And then start to kind of pull up that energy from the earth into your legs, finding that engagement through the low belly, just a very slight tuck, a downward kind of motion through the tailbone. Starting to stack the spine, the shoulders, and the head. And then letting your hands come down into mountain pose, palms facing forward. Or if you'd like to find a little bit more of a tactile touch and sensation, you can bring one hand over the heart and one hand over the belly. And we're simply going to close our eyes if that feels good to you, or maybe just close them slightly. And really start to ground down through your feet so your awareness goes to the contact points of your feet into the mat. We'll take a really deep inhale, sending breath both down and up through the body. And give yourself a nice exhale out. Taking another deep breath in. Full exhale out. One more really deep breath in. Exhale out completely. Nice. From here, you'll go ahead and continue breathing just as deeply on your own rhythm of breath. And so what we want to try to do here is even out our inhales and exhales. So perhaps it helps to give yourself a count. For example, you can inhale and count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. So whatever count works for your depth of breath, feel free to find your own count, and we're simply just trying to match the inhales and exhales. And as your body starts to fall into that even and balanced rhythm of breath, you're welcome to bring perhaps your creative project or the visualization of a new world, whatever is giving you hope and energy to channel into. You can call that into your mind's eye, visualize the finished product, visualize the success of the idea. And we'll go ahead and set any other intentions that you would like to have woven into your practice today. Holding it all in your mind's eye. Taking a deep inhale. Full exhale out, and when you inhale, we'll begin to chant Om 3 times. Om. Thank you for sealing our collective intentions together. We'll go ahead and start to open up the eyes slowly. And if you have your music device accessible, if you'd like to play the playlist, we'll go ahead and double click on the top song and go ahead and continue moving into our practice. So continuing to root down through the feet, we'll start to bend the knees and then bring your hands kind of to this goalpost shape and then kind of make it flat. So more of a horizontal goalpost shape. And then we'll start by taking an inhale, lift the heart up. Exhale, twist to the right, warming up the spine. Inhale back to center. Exhale, twist to the left. So I like to think like I'm just creating a nice long line on the horizon with my hands. And just warming up by twisting the spine. And if it serves you to maybe go a little bit more quickly, side to side, you're welcome to do that as well. Warming up that inner fire right at the center of our bodies, keeping the legs nice and heavy. And then making sure that you've gone to both sides equally before returning back to center. Hands come back into mountain pose, palms forward. We'll take a nice shoulder roll, breathing shoulders up towards the ears, and then exhale, just drop them down. Awesome, we'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, really bring the shoulders up. Exhale, drop. 1 more. Exhale, drop. Awesome. Starting to find that length through the sides of the neck. We're going to take an inhale, reach the hands up, keep pressing down through your feet as you take hold of your hands, so interlacing the fingers, except your index pointing straight up. And then we'll take an inhale, lift through the spine, exhale over to the right. Really grounding down through the left foot. We come back through center, inhale, reach up and over to the other side. Back to center 1 more time to each side. See if you can maybe give yourself an extra breath. As you come over to the sides, you can really start to open up through the sides of the body. And coming up and over. Let the breath stretch through the side of the body and then come back to center. Awesome. Bring the hands back to the heart. We'll meet at the top of the mat if you're not there already. And we'll start by bringing the big toes together, heels about 1 inch apart. Taking another deep inhale up. And we'll start warming up with some kind of half sun salutation. So as you exhale, swan dive forward. Plant your hands on the floor or your shins. Inhale up halfway. Start to find a little bit of a chin tuck, so you're lengthening through the back of your neck and skull. Exhale, bring the navel in as you fold forward. So we're still warming up through the back body, giving ourselves another inhale up, all the way. And exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale up halfway, finding your version. So really bringing the navel up towards the spine, stretching back through the hip points so you're elongating the sides of your waist. And then exhale, emptying out the low belly to help you fold forward. Again, standing strong into the feet as you inhale all the way up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. So this time we'll go ahead and bend the knees. Let the torso fall on top of the thighs. Maybe hold opposite elbows or interlace fingers
behind the head. Then really let the head hang heavy here, allowing the spine to decompress, maybe rocking side to side or shaking the head yes and no. Allowing yourself to fully decompress, continuing to find that nice steady breath. And then we'll release the hands. And then this is a nice little stretch to help go a little bit deeper into the back body. So we'll go ahead and take the hands behind the calves and then bring one hand in between and take hold of the front of your shin. And then the other hand comes through the center and takes hold of the opposite shin. Great. And then continuing to lift on the inhale. We'll exhale. Press the hands and forearms into the legs. And maybe that helps you bend a little bit deeper. So totally optional here. You can also release that hold. Bending the knees one more time, releasing the hands if you have them, and we'll take that ragdoll, so allowing yourself to fold forward. Maybe even bringing the palms up towards the sky. A little bit of a surrender, right? A surrender to the cycles of the seasons. Letting go, slowing down. And then we'll continue. So today we'll be doing a nice little mandala sequence. So we'll be kind of going in one circle one way and then reversing it the other way. So I'll go ahead and talk us through it, but it should be pretty fun. So we'll start in this forward fold. So go ahead and take one more half lift so you can maintain that length through the spine, out through the crown of your head. Exhale, step back with the left foot into your long high lunge. Start to squeeze the inner thighs together, pull the right hip back in space, engage the low belly, and you can start to pull forward with the heart and your gaze, finding one long line from your heel to your head. Maybe, if you're feeling a little bit more power through the body, you can start to hover the fingertips off of the ground. Give yourself 2 more cycles of breath. And if you have your fingertips lifted, we'll go ahead and replant through the left palm. Continue hugging the hips together as you turn and twist towards your front leg. So the right arm comes up to the sky, finding your twist, and then maybe bring the hand behind your head. Continue finding length and then knitting the low ribs in as you twist, gazing up towards the sky. Exhale, come back to reframe your front foot. And then we'll go ahead and drop the knee. So usually we'll bring the knee pretty far back behind our hips. We can get that psoas stretch. But this time, go ahead and see if you can narrow that stance. So bring your back knee in just a little bit. So that way when you press into your front foot to kind of straighten up, yeah, you have this nice 90-degree angle with the legs. Awesome. So hands to the hips, take an inhale, build up your strength, hug the inner thighs together. Option to bring your arms into eagle arms, right arm underneath. Great. And then take an inhale, lift the heart and arms. Exhale, start to maybe press forward. Great. So eagle arms in this Anjaneyasana, continuing to square the hips. Maybe gaze up. Continue to bring the low belly in, tailbone starts to move a little bit further down, so just lengthening through the low back. And then we release the arms, frame the front foot again. This time we're going to tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and then bring both hands on the inside of your front foot. So we're coming into lizard pose.
So option to stay here with your hands on the ground, or you can start to bend the elbows a little bit. So again, working into the psoas muscles. Bending the arms slightly, seeing what works for your body today. Finding your version of lizard pose. Allowing your attention to turn back inward. And then on the inhale, we'll straighten and come back up. Turn the back foot down, so you're coming into warrior legs. And this time we're going to walk the hands out to the upper left diagonal. So continue wrapping your right hip underneath you. Right knee stacks on top of the ankle. And then we push down like downward facing dog into the floor, helping us to stretch our hips back. So continue your nice, stable, even breath in this pose. One more really nice breath, sending your inhale, that nice fresh prana energy into where you need it most in your body. And on the exhale, we'll walk the hands back into center, walk them over to the back of your mat, and we're going to come into Skandasana at the back of the mat. So left knee bends in the same direction as your toes, flexing the right toes up to the sky. So really helpful here, especially at the beginning of our practice, to keep the hands down for some extra support. Or you can start to kind of hug your booty together and maybe find a prayer pose in front of the heart. So just play around, see where your body is. We're still warming up. 2 more cycles of breath. Nice. And then bring your hands back down if they were lifted and start to turn into your high lunge at the back of the mat. Awesome. From here, we'll plant nice and firm into the fingertips and step back into plank pose. Nice. We'll take 3 cycles of breath here. So finding that hollow body, pressing into the palms, lifting the navel, lifting the back of the heart space, toning up through the legs. At the end of your next exhale, we'll start to lower all the way down onto our bellies. So elbows bend straight back. And once you arrive on your belly, go ahead and untuck the toes, press the tops of the feet into the ground. Inhale, lift the heart, cobra pose, Bhujangasana. See if you can still find support through the low belly. And then we exhale, lower down. Nice. Feel free to slide your hands a little bit closer to your low ribs, elbows still pointing back. We'll do 1 more round of cobra. Inhale to rise. Lower body stays heavy. Finding a little bit of a counterbalance here. As you exhale down. Awesome. So from here, we're going to bring our left forearm in front. So it's nice and parallel to that back edge of our mat. And then option to bend the right knee, take your hitchhiker thumb, and then swing it back, taking hold of the big toe inner edge of your right foot. Nice. Go ahead and square your shoulders back to the back edge of your mat. Take an inhale, press your foot into your hand. So this should feel really nice, getting a stretch through the front of the right chest. Option, if you'd like a little bit more of a quad stretch, to start to bring the heel towards the booty. Wrap your fingers over the toes, so they're facing the back edge of the mat as well. Start to flex through the right glutes, engage through the low belly, and breathe. So both options are available. We'll take one more round of breath. Exhale, very softly release your foot, coming back into your Sphinx pose, just to bring everything back into center, both forearms parallel on the ground. Inhale, reach the heart forward in between the shoulders. Exhale, like you're doing cat pose. Really bring the navel towards the spine, arch through the upper back. Inhale, bring the heart through the shoulders. And exhale, reverse. Inhale, back to center. Heart through the shoulder blades. Great. From here, we're going to bring our chest back down, plant the palms underneath the shoulders, tuck the toes, and then find your own way, yogi's choice, back into a downward facing dog. So option to come through a reverse push-up, or maybe you come through all fours, and we'll all meet in downward facing dog. So give yourself some time to hang out here. Maybe shake the head, yes and no, pedal out the feet. Stretching through the back body. And then find a nice spot to just breathe in stillness for 3 cycles of breath. Continuing to bring the ribs in towards the midline, stretching the hips up and back. And after that 3rd cycle of breath, we'll go ahead and lift the right heel up and back, 3-legged dog. So see if you can lower your right hip, send your left hip back, and then find a little bit more of a lift through your right glute. Exhale, knee to forehead, and step it through in between your hands. Awesome. So we're going to do a little bit more building here. Go ahead and turn your back foot down into warrior 2 legs. So your front heel should be in the middle of your back arch. And then continuing to squeeze the inner thighs together, firming up through the legs. We'll cartwheel the arms up into warrior 2. Awesome. So feel free to find a little bit of movement through the arms. Continue wrapping the right hip underneath you, just like we did earlier. Gazing out. Shoulders away from the ears. And then we'll take a little bit of a flying warrior 2. So we'll inhale, straighten through the legs, reach both arms up, and then exhale. Find depth in warrior 2. Nice. Inhale, straighten and reach up. Exhale, sink. Inhale, reach. Exhale, sink. Continue hugging the shoulder blades together behind you. And then we'll go ahead and reverse this warrior. Reaching the right arm up and back. And then inhale, reach up. Start to grab or reach for your block. We're coming into half moon. So use your back leg to help you launch forward with control. Use the block underneath your right hand. And then start to turn your whole torso towards the long edge of your mat. Maybe stack the shoulders and hands. Really lifting from the outer edge of your back foot, twisting from the center all the way up the spine. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, step it back to that long lunge. Go ahead and place both hands down on the ground and then walk them over to the center. So we're coming into a wide-legged standing forward fold. Great. Hands underneath shoulders to begin with. Find that length through your spine. Exhale, fold forward. So walking the hands back just a little bit as you feel comfortable. And then start to play by continuing to hug both sides of the body together, and then maybe bring a little bit more weight into the balls of your foot. So you can just kind of play, see what happens. If you have a tripod headstand in your practice, maybe you want to give it a try here. Taking one more nice cycle of breath. And then start to come back to the top of your mat. So we're almost completing this first cycle. Dropping the back knee, untucking the back toes. And we're coming into Anjaneyasana again, a different variation. So continue to squeeze your inner thighs together as you lift all the way up. Option 1 is to stay here. Option 2 is to bring your left thumb into your left hip crease. Again, melt the shoulders away and find that side body stretch. Leaning over towards the left. A little bit of a balance challenge, so continue to squeeze into the midline. And option number 3, if you're really digging that quad stretch, you can bring your heel to your booty and then maybe bring it forward with you into this Anjaneyasana. 3 more cycles of breath. You got this. And at the end of that third cycle, we'll release the back foot nice and gently. Tuck the back toes. Reframe, so you can even bring your hands to the top 2 corners of the mat. And then we're going to come up through a standing split for just a moment. So lifting the back knee, shifting your weight forward. Exhale, bend both knees, plant both feet. Inhale up halfway, straightening out through the legs. Exhale forward. Nice. We'll go ahead and bend the knees, really sink the hips back. We're going to inhale, come up through chair pose. And sink down. Awesome, you guys look so good, so strong. One more inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, sink the hips. And exhale to fold forward. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. And then we'll inhale all the way up to stand. Exhale, hands together in front of the heart. Lovely. Take a few more moments of breath. Really pressing the palms into one another. Lovely. Let's go ahead and open up the eyes if they were closed. We'll take another inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, step it back. Right foot comes all the way back. Nice. And again, find that inner hug of your thighs. Engage the low belly so you can start to hover the fingertips. Continue breathing, really solidifying that line of energy through the back body. Exhale, bring the hands back down on the inside of your front foot. So we'll do this a little bit in a different order just because I think it'll work a little bit better. So this is our lizard pose. You're welcome to keep the knee lifted or drop it down if that feels better for you. Start to bend the arms. If you want to come onto your forearms, maybe you can do that directly on the mat or bring the forearms on top of a block. One more breath. Inhale, coming back up, lifting from this lizard pose. And then you can almost come over the back foot. So you can drop the back knee with that more narrow stance. Yeah. And then use your inner thighs hugging together. Use your belly hugging in to come up through the square leg Anjaneyasana. We'll bring the left arm underneath. Find your eagle arms. So see if you can almost bring the elbows down and then lift the heart up into the arms. Option to then exhale and bring it forward. Nice. Square hips. Breathing into where you need it most. One more breath. Releasing the arms, reframe the front foot. And this time we'll tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and then find your warrior leg. So we're going to find a foot seal with the right back foot, and then start to walk your hands out to the diagonal. So again, really wrap the left hip underneath you. And as you push into the ground, you reach away in the opposite direction with your hips. Let the head be free of any tension. Let the shoulders be strong, but not lifted. And then we'll inhale, start to come up, walk the hands back in, and then start to walk them over to the back of the mat, coming into Skandasana at the back of your mat. So see if you can take the same variation that you did on the other side. Sometimes each side is a little bit different, but we want to strive for balance in particular in this practice. So hands can stay on the ground or come to prayer in front of the heart. Again, finding length through the low back, lifting through the crown of the head, continuing to dig down through that left heel, hugging both sides of your legs together. And exhale, walk your hands to the back of the mat, coming into this high lunge. Awesome. Plant the palms nice and bright, lifting like a suction cup through the palms. Exhale, step it back to plank. Continue holding plank for 3 more cycles of breath, engaging all parts of your body, all parts of your mind and focus. And on the end of that last breath, go ahead and bend the elbows back, coming all the way onto your belly. Untuck the toes. Inhale, Bhujangasana. Find that cobra pose. Heart comes through. Maybe a subtle lift of the chin and gaze. Exhale, coming all the way down. Sliding the hands back just a bit if that feels good for your body. And if you'd like to go a little bit deeper, we'll take one more inhale here. Continue hugging the shoulders together and down the spine. Exhale as you're ready to come back down. We'll bring the right forearm in parallel with the back edge of the mat. Awesome. Bend the left knee, and again, take that inside edge of your foot. Square the shoulders. Inhale, lift the heart and gaze. Press your foot into your hand, and really breathe and enjoy the space that's being created in the front of the left chest. If you took the quad stretch variation in the left side, you can start to hug the heel towards the booty, engage the left glute, Wrap the fingers over the toes to face towards the back edge of the mat. Engage the low belly. Lots going on here. Breathe into it. And slowly release your foot, coming back into Sphinx pose. Awesome. So elbows are right underneath the shoulders, and we'll take some cat-cow variations here. So we'll take an inhale, really reach the heart through the shoulders. Shoulder blades can almost hug back behind you. Exhale, really pull the navel back. Gaze towards your belly. Cat pose. Another inhale. Exhale, round. Inhale, come back to center. Take 2 more breaths. Bringing it all together into the center. And as you're ready, we'll bring the heart back down to the ground. Hands plant underneath the shoulders, and we're meeting in downward facing dog. So find your own adventure. I will meet you there. Finding stillness in this downward facing dog from the get-go. So really pressing nice and bright into the hands so you can lengthen the sides of the waist and hips up and back behind you. Recenter. And as you're ready, we'll lift the left heel up and back behind us, squaring the hips. Drop the left hip just slightly and really pull the right hip back in space so you can find a nice engagement through the left glute. Deep inhale, exhale, knee to forehead, and step it through. Awesome. From here, we're going to turn the back foot down, warrior 2 legs, so nice and strong from the get-go. Squeeze the legs together energetically, and then cartwheel the arms up in center. Lovely, strong warriors. See if you can continue to stack heart over hips. Now on the next inhale, we'll straighten the legs, reach up. Exhale. Find a little bit of depth. Nice. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, lower. Last one here, we inhale up. Exhale, warrior 2. Really strong. Find that strength through the legs and reverse your warrior. Breathing into the side body and heart. Exhale, start to hinge forward. Back hand comes to your hip. We take hold of that block and then shoot yourself forward into that half moon. Ardha Chandrasana. So really lifting from the outside edge of your back leg, starting to turn the whole torso to the long edge of the mat. Maybe extend your upper arm. Continuing to breathe. One more deep cycle of breath. Exhale, bend that bottom leg, step it back. Hands come to the ground. Lovely. Start to turn all 10 toes to the long side of your mat. Great. And this time we'll take an inhale, hands under shoulders, and then maybe start to walk them back. Maybe you turn the fingers to face back behind you and walk the hands all the way through. Maybe you let the crown of the head lower down to the mat. Really just let yourself play and pay attention to what your body is telling you today about where it wants to go. Maybe you take the nice traditional version, yogi toe lock on the big toes, and then bend the elbows side to side as you fold forward. Nice. Go ahead and start to walk the hands back underneath the shoulders from wherever you are. And then we'll start to walk them up towards the top edge of the mat. Drop the back knee, so coming into this full Anjaneyasana. Hug the inner thighs together as you inhale all the way up to lift. Option for that side stretch. If you took it on the other side, so right thumb into the hip crease as we reach up and over, or if you took the quad stretch option, you can take hold of your back foot, heel to booty, and as you square the shoulders and hips, maybe come forward just a bit. Maybe release the right hand up. So lots of good options here. We'll take 2 more breaths wherever you are. We're all on a different journey. So enjoy where you are today. We'll release from that pose, and then we'll take that standing split. So tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and then lift the back leg. You can use your hands at the top 2 corners of the mat, or maybe even hold the back of the ankle with both hands. See where you want to challenge your balance today. Bringing together sun and moon, light and dark, all of the above. Exhale. Bring the feet hip-width distance apart. Press your hands into the floor or your shins or your legs. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold all the way down. Let the head and neck release. And then we'll go ahead and bend the knees, send the hips all the way back. Inhale up with nice energy, chair pose. And we have completed our mandala sequence. Circles in both directions. Take 1 more inhale, lift the heart. Wrap the shoulders down as you sink the hips. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands together in front of the heart. Go ahead and tune in. We went on a bit of an adventure in both cycles, so feel free to press the palms together, trying to even out the breath. Inhales and exhales the same length of time. So in the Sufi and Muslim traditions, you'll notice that they tend to spin or walk counterclockwise. And in the Buddhist tradition, as they do walking meditations, they actually walk clockwise with their right hands towards the center, symbolizing the right path. So we did a little bit of both in honor of these different traditions. And we'll go ahead and open up the eyes. Find your drishti point, and then start to bring the hands to the hips. We'll start to stack into our left leg. Bring the right foot up into tree pose. Nice, really hug the leg and foot together. And then we'll take eagle arms, so right arm underneath. Again, hug the elbows down, heart up. Option to stay with these tree legs or bend both knees, wrap the right thigh as high as you can on top of the left. Maybe take a little kickstand or full wrap, bending both knees, sinking the hips, hugging everything into the midline. Take 1 more deep breath. Inhale to unwind and stretch it out. Awesome. I'll face you, shake it out, and then we'll bring our weight into our right foot. The left foot comes up for tree pose. Really hug the two together, so sometimes we can kind of dump into one hip. So really hug the two into the midline. And if you'd like to continue building on this, you can bring the left arm underneath for your eagle arms, maybe just a nice opposite shoulder hug, whatever works for you today. And if you want to keep building, we'll bend both knees, wrap the left leg high on top of the right. And really hug everything in together. So you're hugging legs in together, arms in together. Wringing everything out, but also giving yourself some more stability. And then we inhale, expand. Shake it out. All right, so I want to just do some last movements with some good breath work to just re-energize before we come on down to the ground. So this has been a long-standing practice, and we'll go ahead and cap it off with some goddess stances. So feet out wider than your hips, toes at the diagonal, and then we'll exhale, slide down that imaginary wall, coming into your goddess squat. And then we'll take a 4-part breath. So arms out to the sides, inhale. Inhale, bring the arms straight in front of you. Inhale, bring the hands to the heart. And then exhale, let that energy blow out to the sky. Lovely. So in, and press out. In, and out. In, and out. Last one. And straighten the legs, find your star pose. Wiggle the fingers. And then we're going to bring the feet in, still a little bit wider than your hips, preparing for malasana. So you all know your body best. And as you start, you can bring your hands to the hips. Exhale, sink the hips back. So bus stop number 1, finding a nice high squat. Those of y'all that have practiced with me before, you know you can also continue to lower the hips if that feels okay for your joints and the rest of your body. Hands to the heart. Lengthening through the low back. So again, engaging the low belly. One more inhale in your pose, your shape. Exhale, hands to the ground, and we come on to our seat. Really strong work, everybody. Definitely cultivating that fire from the lack of sun that we had today in Austin. So from here, once you come onto your seat, go ahead and face kind of the long way on your mat if you're not there already. We'll stretch the legs out long. Inhale, reach the hands up. Exhale, fold forward and hinge. Paschimottanasana. Take hold of the shins maybe, or maybe the edges of the feet. Whatever feels good for you, continue to extend from the heart. And then exhale, hug the navel in as you fold forward. And you can do this several times as you breathe, maybe taking small adjustments, maybe hinging forward a little bit deeper on each cycle of breath. Really melting and slowing it down. Taking a nice inhale. Coming back to a seat, and then we'll go ahead and press the hands on the outer sides of the hips, coming into Dandasana, so flexing the feet back, really starting to find length from your hips out through the crown of your head. And releasing that press through the hands. We'll bring the left foot in for Jani Shirsasana. So just like we did with tree, left foot comes in. And then we're actually going to turn a little bit. So instead of coming straight over, we're going to turn our chest towards this bent knee. Nice. And then bring the right arm on the inside of the right leg. You're welcome to use a block, if that helps, to bring the ground closer to you. And we'll reach up and over. So see if you can turn those low ribs a little bit more skyward. As you breathe into the side body, groin and hamstrings. It's all connected. One more inhale. Coming up. And then you can plant your hand far back behind you and lift the hips for a stargazer pose. Just a little moment of expressiveness and opening through the heart as we bring the hips back down and switch the legs out. So left leg comes long, right foot comes in, and then almost kind of opening it up, so turning your torso towards the bent knee. Option to bring your block along with you as you plant the left forearm, turn the ribs, and then reach up and over. Take an inhale as you come up. Plant your right palm behind you. Lift the hips. Enjoy your stargazer pose, nice and bright. Exhale, bring the hips back down. Straighten both legs in front of you. And you can shake out the legs and knees. Maybe give yourself a little massage or pat on the thighs and legs. Just a nice, gentle fist. Releasing that fascia just a little bit. And then we'll take an inhale, reach the arms forward. Exhale, press the navel back so you can come to lie flat on your back. From here, we'll bend one knee at a time, replant through the feet, and then prepare for a bridge pose. So if you'd like a more restorative version, you can bring a block underneath the hips. If you have a full wheel in your practice that you're really excited to go for, you can do that as well, and I will talk us through bridge pose, Setu Bandhasana. So we'll reach our hands towards our heels, and then on your ground, start to prepare, bringing your shoulder blades underneath your heart, and then really press into the inner edges of your feet to help lift the hips on the inhale. So see if you can still maintain a knit of the low ribs into the core. So we're not splaying the ribs out as we lift, we're keeping a nice long line. As always, really playing with those energetic lines of the body. Shoulders to knees, really using the strength of our legs to lift, and exhale to lower. One vertebrae at a time should feel like a nice little massage on the way down. And then we'll go ahead and windshield wiper the feet side to side. Great. And so you can let your knees stay over to the left. Great. Inhale, take a nice reach up overhead. Take hold of your right wrist, and then keeping both shoulders on the ground, find a little bit of a crescent shape over to the left as well. Almost like you're going to press forward and down through that right knee. Again, finding a nice gentle version of this quad stretch. Coming back through center. And then exhale, knees over to the right. Take hold of the left wrist as you slide the upper body towards the right side. Fully enjoying the richness of your breath, the love and strength of your body as it carries you through life. And inhale back to center. Awesome. We'll go ahead and come into Sukhi Randrasana, taking the right ankle over the left thigh, flexing both feet. You can start to maybe bring your right knee out wide. And then the right hand comes through the triangle of your legs, interlaces behind your hamstring. And then you can start to hug in on the inhale, almost like you're using that left knee directionally to help you bring the legs a little bit closer to your body. Breathe at your edge, your comfortable edge. And for those that still want to burn off a little bit of excess energy, option to kind of do a forklift, as I call it. So bringing both arms in that triangle of your legs. So the inner forearms are on the outside of your right leg. And then exhale to really hug it in. And then use that bind to extend your left leg out. So your forearms are parallel here. Hope that forklift analogy made some sense. And then we'll bend the left knee, bring it back to that figure four, release the heart, and release the arms. Nice. Go ahead and bring both feet back down to the ground, maybe a quick windshield wiper to both sides. Rock it out. And then left ankle crosses on top this time. Start to flex both feet, left knee starts to press wide as you interlace your fingers behind the hamstring. And exhale, hugging it in. So this shouldn't be too jarring for the body. This should feel like a nice stretch for the hips. So if this is a little bit intense, see if you can maybe come out of it just a little bit. We're just cooling down. So it should be enjoyable. And if you took that active variation on the other side, we'll kind of forklift our left shin. Really hug shin and arms together. Engage the low belly to lift the heart and extend the right leg out. So again, always remaining in tune with that isometric engagement, so pressing the forearms in and pressing the shin out. Bending the knee, coming back through that figure four, releasing the chest and arms. Releasing both feet. Take a little rock side to side. And then we'll bring both soles of the feet into one another. Let the outside edges of the feet rest on the mat. So we're coming into a reclined cobbler's pose, Supta Baddha Konasana. And there's a lot we can do in this pose. So maintaining that press into the opposite foot. Maybe you want to bring one hand over the heart, one hand over the belly, re-engaging with that tactile sense of your breath. Or if you'd like a little bit of a stretch for the low back, you can play with pressing the heels of your hands into the hip crease. And then pressing towards the top of your mat, just finding a little bit of elongation through the low spine. This may not feel good for everybody, so it's just an option. Just kind of find an elongation. And then we'll bring the hands to the outside of the thighs. Allow your knees to close like a book. And last pose before Shavasana, we'll come into Happy Baby. Bringing both knees out wide, taking hold of the outer edges of the feet. Elbows are inside the knees. And again, finding that engagement as you press the low sacrum down into the ground for stability. Press up through the feet, maybe bend through the elbows and press down with the hands. Breathing into where you need it most, maybe rocking side to side, maybe stretching one leg and then the other. Really doing what feels right for your body today. And then we'll bring it all in, make a little egg, so knees together, taking a nice hug, maybe lifting the heart a little bit too, and just bringing any last remaining stagnant energy into this little ball. And then with a nice exhale, we release and take up as much space as you can on the floor. So arms and legs out wide. I like to almost think of it as like cracking an egg for breakfast, right? It's this little ball, and as you crack, it expands out into the pan. So let your body expand out on the ground. Allowing your breath to return to a natural rhythm. No need to force it to be even, just allowing yourself to be as you are. Relaxing the forehead, the eyes, the face, neck, shoulders, wrists, hips, knees, ankles, toes, all the way down. And give yourself time to bask in the fullness of your being. I'll let you know when it's time to reawaken and come back into the space. And as you hear my voice, you can start to bring your awareness back to the present moment, to your current space, noticing sounds, sights, and smells of your environment around you. Maybe using the thumb to graze over the fingertips, allowing yourself to re-center in your awareness. And we'll bend one knee at a time, replanting to reground through the feet. And drawing up that earth energy, will reach up and exhale over to your favorite side, giving yourself the most nourishing breath to reintegrate your practice. And then making your way back to a comfortable seat. And go ahead and rub the palms together. And then interlace the thumbs, let the palms land right over the heart. Allowing the cycles of our world to connect with your own cycles of being. Turning attention inward, but continuing to keep that inner fire stoked as you continue to embark on your different creative and visionary projects. Feeling that love and warmth from the sangha to and from one another. We'll go ahead and bring the hands back together. Thumbs land on the third eye as we take an inhale and exhale to chant one final Om. Om.